Let's talk about periods, baby. Let's talk about periods, baby. Hi everyone, it's your favorite YouTuber here, and today I'm going to be doing a short recap of my first Diva Cup experience. Before I go in, for some people who are like, oh, she's going to talk about menstruation and blood and periods and vaginas, before you go away, please like, subscribe, comment, share, and share with your loved ones. If you're like, oh, I don't have a vagina, this does not apply to me. You might be able to give someone good advice. Just get as much information as possible. Learning is always welcome here. Yeah. Okay, so before I start, let's go to my welcome song. Hi, hello, hi, hello, yes, I'm talking to you. Hello. So my last period happened July 25th. July 24th is when it started. Lightly. By lightly, I mean not so light. I am a really heavy bleeder on my periods. Some might say I hemorrhage, and when I start talking about the cup, you'll be like, oh shit, she does. When I first started, I was like, oh my god, again, I'm out of tampons. I buy the supersized ones, the 86 pack ones, and I also buy pads, and I go through it like every 2 months. I usually have like some left over at the beginning of the 3rd month. So here you go. Now you know a short history of my period. So on the 26th of July, which was a Friday, I was fed up. I was out of tampons, I was out of pads, I was on my last tampon, and I just threw out a message to everyone on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw my story. If you don't, please follow Cynthia_broke_fat and I just threw out a question asking people their thoughts on Diva Cups and menstrual cups in general, and what their experiences were, and the best one to get. It was really insightful to have that. So I got a lot of messages. I'm so grateful to everyone who messaged, and a lot of people were just like, the Diva Cup is the best thing that has ever happened to me, and it's expensive at first, but it will save you money in the long run. So I was like, okay, I can do this. So I went into Rexall. It's a drugstore here in Canada, maybe in Ontario. I don't know if it's everywhere else. And I purchased me a box of a Diva Cup. It was not an interesting experience. They only had the Diva Cup or the tampon menstrual cups. I had been doing some reading about sizes and which sizes would work for me, and originally on their website there were 2 sizes, a size 1 and a 2, and a size 1 was for people under 30 who had never had babies, and a size 2 was for people over 30 or people who had had babies. And I really wanted something that the size difference is quite small in measurements, but I really wanted something that would work for my heavy menstrual flow. So I went into Rexall thinking I would get a size 1, but then I realized they had 3 sizes, and one was for people who had just started their period up till 18, and then size 0, that was size 0, and then size 1 was for people under 30, but also it was based on how heavy your flow was. So I was like, a size 2 obviously is for me. So I picked up a size 2, and I'm a person who likes to read manuals, so it was great that they had a manual booklet, which I found really helpful, and I read front to back because I was really worried about the whole experience. And I was documenting this whole experience on Instagram, and that was the best decision I'd ever made, because on Saturday, the first time I wore it, I actually tried wearing it at night, and it was quite uncomfortable, and I shared that experience with people. So I had someone slide into my DMs on La Verge. Thank you again so much. She slid into my DMs and gave me tips and walked me through it. So I went back into the bathroom and took it out and put it back in. That was so helpful for me because it just made my night more comfortable. I was quite scared that I was going to like leak. This was my 3rd day into my period, but then I put a towel under me and I slept, and I was okay in the morning, even though I kept waking up throughout the night just because of that anxiety. On Saturday, I had Pilates training, so it was quite a bit of movement, and like 1 hour into wearing the Diva Cup, it was full. Yes, this is how heavy my period is, and this is the size 2, by the way, for heavy flow. On Sunday, I was also very heavy, and I was moving for, I would say, about 5 hours of the day, because again, it was another day of teacher training. Shout out to Good Body Feel. Yes. Second day of doing it on Sunday was better because I had gotten so much feedback from the night before and like just the whole week, and I had people checking in on me a lot. It was like really great to have just like a band of female identifying people just want to help you. So like I find sharing my experiences, some people are not comfortable enough talking about their vaginas yet, and that's fine. You should get to that place because it's just the body part. But if you're not there yet, that's why I'm making this video, for people who want to know and who want to know about the experience, but don't want to let people know when they're on their period or let people know what's going on down there. That's why I'm here. You're welcome. I had to do a boil with hot water. Some people are like, oh, you don't have to do it yet. The manual says to boil it in hot water for like 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. And yeah, then you'll be good to go. Please make sure it's cooled down before you shove it up there. Like, I don't know if I have to say this, but I also thought maybe I should. And make sure it's cold a bit before you do it, because I waited for maybe a minute and that was not enough. It was still like quite hot. There are 2 methods in the manual for folding it in before you put it in. So you could either go this way, push it back in like that, and then you have like a triangle shape. I find this very hard to do. It just didn't work for me. There was also the method of making a U shape. This is my preferred method of foldage because it's easier for me to hold. And then because I am fat and my arms are quite short and I'm not very flexible, I found it harder to sit on the toilet seat to put it in. So I just like put my leg on the bathtub or on my sink, whichever way I'm feeling. And I usually find it easier to use my left hand and then use my right hand to separate my labia, the lips of my vagina, and put it in that way. Yeah, when it's in, squeeze and turn it 360. I found it hard to do that when it was fully inserted, but I also read in the book that it doesn't have to be fully inserted, so you can have enough of a grip. So after a few days of trying, I figured it out, and I would put it in halfway, and before it went, I would do the 360 and let it go. And then I did kegels to push it in even further. So as I was pushing it in, I did like a squeeze kegel to put it in. Yeah, and it worked wonders. Saturday night, I went out dancing, and like because I documented it so much, everyone kept on asking me how it felt. So like it was really easy for me to give people feedback, and I was like, every time I go pee, I feel like it's sticking out. And my friend was like, yeah, because you have to push it back in. It didn't click, because when I pee, the force kind of like you're here and then you pee and it's just like eh. So every time I peed, I would like wash my hand before peeing, and then like after peeing, wipe down there, and then just push it back in and kegel again. That was really helpful to know. And then when you want to take it out, it's in here. Yeah. And some people have troubles with it being messy when you pull it out. What you want to do is, let's say this is the walls of your vagina. and they're holding it in. You want to squeeze it so that you can let some of the air out through those tiny holes by the side. And as you squeeze it, you want to wiggle, 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 like that. P.S. If you let go of it while you're trying to bring it out, it will just go back in. So you have to keep squeezing and wiggle it out. It doesn't take that long. And if you do it this way, it'll be upright. So even if it's full, it won't like be messy. Yeah, I hope that's helpful for you. When I was buying the cup, I was like, oh, maybe I can use like antibacterial soap, just because I thought it was so like it would be dirty and you had to like disinfect it. The manual says don't use Castile soap, don't use antibacterial soap. Let me see what else it says. Don't use vinegar, don't use tea tree oil, don't use hand sanitizers, don't use hydrogen peroxide. Don't use any of that when washing it. So I was like, what am I going to use? And then I thought, light bulb moment. Summer's Eve. I'd probably get one without any fragrance in it next time. And yeah, this is what I use because it's supposed to be safe for your vagina, right? So why not? So I just like sometimes put it in some hot water, put the soap in, wash it. There's some holes in here. I don't know if you can see that. There are like 4 tiny holes in there. I think that's to release air. So like to release the suction, and it says to make sure it's not dirty. So I like when I'm washing it, I open it a little bit, and like that's the way to get the blood out of that. Very handy. And it comes with a bag too, because you're supposed to put it in a breathable place, but also away from like, don't just toss it into your dresser. So put it there, close it, and you're good to go. The reason why I really wanted this cup is it's like $40 with tax. If I can use it for a whole year, I spend more than $40 on tampons and pads every year. So that's good, and it's also less landfill. And I read somewhere it's silicone made from sand, so if you cut it up into tiny bits, after a while it's biodegradable. That's the word. So yeah, so it's environmentally friendly and affordable and easy to use and easy to clean. Yes, please. That's all for my Diva Cup experience. It was a great experience. And if you have like other cups you're using that you think will be better for my heavy flow, please comment down in the section below or on my Instagram, whatever, slide into my DMs, whatever. If you don't want people to know what you're using, then slide into my DMs. Just let me know. Okay. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. It's time to take my face off and go to sleep. Good night.